So everyone can hear me? Okay, can you nod or unmute your mic and tell me that you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Thank you. So please keep your microphones muted and ask your questions into the chat. Okay, so hello and welcome everyone. This is the first webinar organized by the Romanian National Cybersecurity Directorate on this EU co-founded project, which is called DNS4EU. And as you can see and already hear, the online session will be in English in order to accommodate our guests and speakers today. And surely, since English is the universal language in cyber, I hope this is not a real issue for you. And another important disclaimer for our webinar today is that the meeting will be video recorded in order to be made available publicly on DNSC accounts for those who couldn't make it today to today's event. Okay, we won't keep your attention for more than an hour today, as this is practically an introduction to what we do and what our objectives are with this project. We have two speakers on the agenda today, Ms. Daniela Tapi from the Romanian National Cybersecurity Directorate and Mr. Michal Havelka from Wellbone, who is actually the coordinator of an European consortium of partners on this project. At the very end of their presentation, we will activate a Q&A session in which we will address your questions in the chat. So I encourage all of you to use the chat for your questions and keep your microphone closed during the presentation part of this event. And to give you a very short summary of what this project aims on the short and long term, the DNS4EU is an initiative by the European Commission that aims to offer an alternative to the public DNS resolvers currently dominating the EU market. So basically, the project will deploy a recursive European DNS resolver service infrastructure based on highly federated and distributed protective DNS ecosystem, and this will evidently contribute to strengthening European sovereignty and provide a safe and open alternative DNS resolver for the EU citizens, for businesses, and surely for public administrations too. And to provide you more concrete information on the project and what the Directorate's role is, I invite my colleague Daniela Tapi from the Project Implementation Department to the digital floor and onto the mic. Daniela?
Thank you, Mihai. Hello. Thank you for your participation in this webinar. We have many participants from different fields of activities, from public bodies, from local authorities, from the city councils and mayories from Romania. We have telco operator representatives from the academia, from the universities, also representatives from the small and medium enterprises from Romania. So the audience for this event is quite diverse. So my name is Daniela Tapi. I'm an expert in accessing funds and implementing cybersecurity projects in the Romanian National Cybersecurity Directorate. I will use for my presentation the acronym DNSC, which means in Romanian Directoratul Național de Securitate Cibernetică. And on behalf of DNSC, I'm the coordinator for the DNS4EU and European DNS Shield project. So I will start my presentation with a general overview of the Romanian National Cybersecurity Directorate. My presentation will include also a short description of the main projects funded through the European Union programs where we are involved. And then I will continue my presentation with the DNS4EU project guidelines and, of course, with the perspectives of this project and the impact of the European level regarding cybersecurity. So I will share my presentation, and I will kindly ask you to tell me if it's okay. So
yes, Daniela, everything is okay.
So do you see my screen entirely? Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes.
So as we all know, the challenges, the risk, and the security threats in cyberspace have intensified in the recent years. And the cybersecurity has become a requirement involving integrated and comprehensive approach. So at the international level, the adoption of new and permanent cybersecurity strategies, together with significant financial investments and rapid and ambitious organizational adaptations, are some crucial aspects in this field. Therefore, the response capabilities of the governments must evolve at the same time with the cyber security attacks. Therefore, the means of prevention and the specialized reaction and intervention highly prepared and adapted to new types of cyber attacks become very urgent. The Romanian National Cybersecurity Directorate, as I mentioned before, DNSC, was established according to the issues I mentioned before, was established in September 2021 as specialized body of the Central Public Administration under the authority of the government of Romania and in the coordination of the Prime Minister. We have legal personality. We are entirely financed from the state budget through the budget of the General Secretary of the government. Before, it was DNSC took the activities of former CERT-RO, which was the Computer Emergency Response Team in Romania, and now is a large organization, and we intend to become a well-known organization, having as mission to ensure the cybersecurity of the national cyberspace in close collaboration with all competent authorities and relevant actors in the cybersecurity field. On a long term, we have a vision that we would like to become an international class institution that will firmly position Romania as a recognized leader in cybersecurity. Now, currently, we are around 150 employees, but we have we are very ambitious. We are open for business, and we want to become a large team targeting more than 1,000 people till 2030. So we need a strong team in order to perform our objectives and our responsibilities, and of course to develop projects which will contribute to the cybersecurity in Romania and of course in Europe. We act as a cyber hub, and we have this role especially in Romania, but we have a lot of involvement in the international environment, because we want to become to be the link between the business environment, between the governmental apparatus and the local and public authorities, We try to connect as much as possible the academia with research institutions and with innovative environment, and also all these things could be done through strong partnerships and international alliances with different partners from different countries, even in Europe, but of course we have also an international approach with other countries. As I said, we are part of the Romanian cybersecurity ecosystem. You have here, you can see organizational chart about the Romanian cybersecurity ecosystem. We are here located in the same level on the governmental apparatus with other institutions, ministries, special services, and of course institutions which are dealing with the cybersecurity aspects at national level. Furthermore, we are part in the governing board of European institutions like ENISA, European Union Agency for the Cybersecurity, like ACCC, which is located here in Bucharest, the European Cybersecurity Competence Center, and of course we work with other structures like NATO, Europol, and European Union Council. Furthermore, we have a collaborative approach. Also, we have many partnerships and contacts and current projects with European institutions, with different partners from the European and abroad. And we would like to have an important role in cybersecurity assessment and certification for technology products and services. We would like to develop and implement cybersecurity strategies and policies at the national level, and we contribute to the cybersecurity regulation framework at the European level. And of course, it's very important to have an important contribution in the education, the cybersecurity education system, to prevent and to increase awareness by training programs and different activities and disseminations of, we have dissemination campaigns for these threats and vulnerabilities in our national environment. By law, we have very clear defined our key roles and responsibilities. I will skip through the most important ones. So we are the competent authority of national level for the national civilian cyberspace. We are managing the risk and the cybersecurity incidents. We have an important role of strategy and planning because we carry out the government's policy in the field of cybersecurity, establishing public strategies and policies in this field. Also at national level, we are the competent authority for regulation, supervising and control, because we ensure that what all the European regulations must be transcribed in the national legislation, and the scope is to ensure the security of the national civilian cyberspace. We perform the role of national governmental cybersecurity incident response team. And of course, we are in charge with coordination, implementation, and guidance for the sectorial cybersecurity incident response team. Other responsibilities, we are dealing with alerting, preventing, awareness, and training in the cybersecurity fields. We have different activities, also, as I mentioned before, concluding partnerships and making alliances with other entities in order to ensure a cooperation framework, because it's very important and it is necessary at this level. We also have certification responsibilities at national level, and of course a function for research and innovation in this field. Other responsibilities established by law, we deal with identification, evaluation, and mitigation of cybersecurity risks at national level. We have the function of education and trainings, and you will see later that we have in implementation a dedicated project for this. Also, we perform the management function for projects and services. As resuming that I presented before, our collaborative approach and prior experience, it's related with these 5 key aspects. And further on, I would like to present concretely some of our projects. Part of them were implemented, but most of them are now in the implementation period. So at the national level, we implemented the project ROSAT, which means Early Warning and Real-Time Information System. The objective of the project was increasing the DNSC's operational capacity and building and operationalizing a national level security operations center capability. This was completed last year, and now we have projects funded through different European programs. Most of them, probably you know them. Horizon 2020, it's a research and innovation European program. We were implemented four projects. I will tell you only the acronym: Geiger, Cityscape, Iris, and Secant. Each project has its own specificity and its own objective. You can find more details about these projects also on our website, dnsc.ro, in the dedicated projects file. So other projects now on Horizon Europe program, we implementing the Dynamic project. We have also projects on infrastructure funded by Connected Europe Facility digital program HADEA. Also, this project that we are presenting today, DNS4EU and European DNS Shield, is financed through European agency HADEA. In the last 2 years, we have gained and implemented, we are implementing a lot of projects funded through the European Union's dedicated Digital Europe program. ROCCH is a project dedicated to the Romanian cyber care health. Also, there are projects with different partners from many countries from all Europe, Inform, CMBOT, SecureEU, Intersoc, 5G Tactic, Cyderco and Cyrus Range with different topics and impact activities in the cybersecurity domain. Also, we are part on NSOC cross-border platform project, which is dedicated to, which is a consortium of 7 European Union countries, which will develop an SOC security operation dedicated project. So our main project implementing now, it's funded through the European Recovery and Resilience Fund. It's a 25 million euros project dedicated to awareness actions and training and education, having 2 major parts: development of a portfolio of professional training services dedicated to graduates and students. And the second part refers to the creation of a toolkit for increasing cybersecurity skills with dedicated applicability in priority areas of the economy and society here in Romania. So this was my quick presentation of the Directorate and our activities in the General Division for Expertise and Projects. If you have questions, please write it in the chat and I will answer to you at the end of this training session. The information that I provide you are according to traffic light protocol are classified as being green, so it's not confidential. Thank you. I will skip now to the project presentation. So the DNS4EU and European DNS Shield. It's a project financed through the Granting Authority, European Health and Digital Executive Agency, HADEA, on the type of action Connecting Europe Facility Infrastructure project. This project started last year in January 2023 and will end in December next year, 2025, has a total budget of 6,173,000 euros, and it is granted with a co-financing rate of 50%. This is the main topics that I would like to present you today. Some aspects about the project, which is the structure of the consortium, what are the main pillars, and which is the core structure of the project. Of course, which is our contribution as DNSC into the project, and some more specific information you could find in the next slides. So what means a domain name system DNS. We know that we all have access to the internet through domain names like DNSC.ro or domainname.com. And the web browsers interact through the Internet Protocol IP addresses. And the DNS service translates domain names to the IP addresses, so the browsers can load the Internet resources. Now, each device connected to the Internet has a unique IP address. It is a number, which other machines use to find this device. So the domain name system protection, it's essential. It is an essential component for the government's cybersecurity strategy, not only because it safeguards sensitive data and critical infrastructure, but also helps to maintain public trust and ensure the uninterrupted delivery of the essential services. So the governments are the prime targets for cybersecurity attacks due to their wealth of sensitive information. So therefore, the domain name system protection acts as the first line of defense against threats like phishing, malware, ransomware, etc. By blocking access to malicious domains, preventing cybersecurity criminals from infiltrating into the networks, and of course, preserving the general data. So DNS4EU is an initiative of the European Commission to provide an alternative to the dominant public DNS resolvers in the market, having as main goal strengthen the digital security and independence of the European Union. Also, this initiative will provide the European Union citizens, companies, and institutions with a secure, privacy-compliant, and powerful recursive DNS. The challenge, which was based on which was the base for this project, was represented by the fact that European governmental institutions and citizens are not well protected with and have slow reaction on threats, cybersecurity threats. So the solution will create an independent European-based DNS protection with real-time reaction on threats with easy distribution to the citizens and institutions. About the partners and the consortium of the project leader is the company Whalebone from the Czech Republic, and the partners are very well known actors in the cybersecurity field from 10 different European countries. There are partners in the consortium, and we have also associated partners, Ministry of Electronic Governments, F-Secure, and Centro Nacional de Cibersegurança from Portugal. The Romanian National Cybersecurity Directorate is partner in the consortium, and we work close with all other partners from Hungary, Czech Republic, Timelex from Belgium, and NASK from Poland. What is the DNS4EU goal? The main goal is to protect 100 million European citizens on the DNS level. How will this goal be achieved? By offering central protection of government institutions like hospitals, public bodies, municipalities, and other operators, which are highly vulnerable because they handle sensitive data. Also, this goal will be achieved because this superior DNS resolution for internet service providers will safeguard their network and will monetize premium security services. Also, this will strengthen the collaboration with the computer emergency response team and with the cybersecurity incident response team network at the European level by endorsing their participation to enhance threat intelligence exchange. Yes. Also, the public European resolver will provide a free, rapid, and reliable DNS resolution service accessible to all end users. Some of our goals and requirements are related to privacy. The citizen will be provided with DNS resolution which adhere to the highest privacy standards, including respecting the all European data privacy regulation. Our goal is to refers to security, because the consortium combines cybersecurity experts from different European countries, which will work together to provide the best solution and the safest DNS resolution. I mentioned the structure of the consortium before. Also, the European Commission aimed to keep users' data in the Union digital space in order to support its digital independence and sovereignty. Yes, and as I mentioned previously, the goal of the DNS4EU project is to collaborate with various European stakeholders in a commercial project to ensure its long-term viability and to offer cybersecurity services to more than 100 million people. During the project will be almost 35 million of users across Europe, but our target after the completion of the implementation period gets to 100 million users across Europe. So the project is based on 4 main pillars, meaning the end users being the governments and public institution, the threat intelligence exchange. Also, we are targeting telco operators and internet service providers. And the last main pillar is represented by the public reservoir for the end users. As time schedule, as I mentioned, the project launched its activities in the beginning of last year. Now we are almost in the half of the implementation period in 2024, and till the end of next year, we would like to attract end users and to scale the deployments as needed. Of course, after the implementation period, the sustainability project continuation period will target the numbers that I mentioned before. So, referring to our contribution to the project, we, as National Cybersecurity Directorate, contribute in most part of the activities of the project. mainly in work packages dedicated to the services design and specification, to the threat intelligence for threat prevention, because we are part of the cybersecurity incident response team network, and we could share and disseminate the project in this to the stakeholders from this community. We also will contribute to the creating of the user guides and support materials for using these services, and we have major responsibilities and contribution related to lawful filtering and ensuring the digital security requirements. Short description. What means our involvement in creating user guides and support materials. We will be responsible for creating clear support guides, which means interactive web application and also audiovisual materials. We will contribute to the creation of other support materials and with clear instructions for DNS end users. Also, we are responsible of lawful filtering. We have to prepare tools for automated coverage of the lawful filtering requirements, including, of course, the list of the domains and the proper wording for the blocking page. So, last but not least, our contribution refers to digital security requirements, because this project have to fulfill all legal requirements, including the requirements related to the network information security directive at the European level. Also, with the all updated legal regulation, which were approved last year, Cyber Resilience Act, and which will be also approved this year by the European Commission. A separate focus area will receive particular attention related to the identification and management of associated risks with requirements specified for the 5G networks and the European cybersecurity toolbox. Thank you for your attention. Please also let any comments or questions in the chat. If you are interested in more details, you can find here our email addresses. After the presentation, you will receive an email with the slides and a questionnaire about this webinar. So thank you once again for your attention, and let me introduce now Michael Haberka, which is the product manager at Whalebone, to dive you into threat intelligence and deployments. Michael, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela, very much. Okay, so first of all, I'll try to share my screen if everything is working properly. And now, can someone please confirm that you can hear me and see the slide?
Yes, it's okay.
Thank you. Okay, so just one more little thing to correct. I'm not the project coordinator, that's my colleague Vladimir Nezdařil. I'm product manager, so here in Whalebone, I'm responsible to actually transform the technology into something what is deployable and usable, nowadays called product. So let's dive into the technology, how it works and how it is deployed to actually protect the users and organizations. So DNS and cybersecurity, why why actually DNS should be chosen as a technology for any cybersecurity. So by 2024, we have 15 billion connected devices to the internet. And by 2026, there is estimation that it will be 24 billions actually. So from the security standpoint of view, it's a nightmare, right, to protect all of them. How would you do it? So is there actually any common denominator we can use for these devices? And yes, there is, and it's called DNS. And this is how the protective DNS service was born and why it's nowadays used for the protective service. It's important to say that, of course, it's not bulletproof. 94% of attacks now rely on DNS. It's not all of them. It's vast majority of them. But of course, you cannot abandon your firewalls or end protection. No, as you probably are aware, the security means layering. So DNS protective service is another layer to your let's say security perimeter. So the very two basic pillars of the DNS4EU project is to collect as much as reliable threat intelligence data in a speed manner and collect them together and somehow distribute it to all these users and organizations and protect them in, let's say, almost real time. So how to do that? That is what my speech is about. Let's start with the threat intelligence. So how we do actually collect data and protect, trying to protect users and organization. So this is the threat intelligence life cycle. Every security, or let's say, every security, cybersecurity is basically a race between attackers and defenders. Attackers is trying to be faster than defenders. And that applies also for DNS, because if the attackers register some domain, sooner or later it will be detected as malicious and can be blocked. So then they will register a new domain, and they are doing this on a regular basis. So our goal as defenders is to actually have an early detections of these domains. And how to do that, I will explain on the next slides. Next, there is intelligence sharing channels. We need to cooperate together actually and share threat intelligence information from all institutions and organizations to actually have very effective security service. So we are able to mark malicious domains. Next one is actually traffic analysis. So we are able to actually detect the patterns in the DNS traffic, for example, used for DGA, which is abbreviation for domain generated by algorithms, and for DNS tunneling technique, which I will explain later in detail. And of course, as every security service, there are some false positives, so we need to mitigate them. Okay, so how to do it in detail? Let's start with early detection. So there are billions of domains right now on the internet. And it's important to notice that actually not every one of it has some content on it. Attackers use this, or let's say misuse it, that they register the domain, but for the detection engines, it's hard to actually say if it's malicious or legitimate domain because there is actually no content. So that's important information we need to have in mind when we are doing any malicious detections. But first of all, we need to be aware that there is actually a new domain on the internet which we should scan. So how to do it? So our big advantage is that most of domains have some SSH certificate for the HTTPS communication. So if this certificate is registered, we are able to detect it, and it's a good indication for us that it's actually live domain, and they are about to publish some content or they already did, and we can scan for such content and detect if it's malicious or not. Also, sometimes it includes requester details. Not all of the time, but it's also a good indicator. For example, if the certificate is issued for example, our CEO, Richard Malovic from Wellbone, it seems like it's probably legitimate. But if the attacker is trying to hide these details, it's some sign, that there is something stinky, and we should pay attention to it. So that's certificate transparency, which we can use. Another, let's say, source which we can use is domain registries. And by domain registries, I mean TLD, top-level domain registries like .ro, EU.org, or Poland. Yeah, so we are able to scan for newly registered domains provided by these TLD registries, and again detect there is some new domain and that we can or should regularly scan for the content if it's malicious or not. Again, similar to certificates, there are registration data. So again, we are able to say if there is some legitimate person who registered the data, or it's hidden, or it's, for example, somehow weird, and we are able to say, okay, so this is potentially malicious, and we should pay some attention. The challenge is with these domain registries that usually TLD registries are not providing this data, or providing to only some parties, yeah? Because these data are sometimes considered as sensitive, even though a lot of them are publicly available on the internet. This is the never-ending discussions, for example, on repair or ICANN conference, if they should be published or not. But for example, our colleagues, which are also members of consortium from Poland, NASC, the CCERT for Poland, they are doing this, and thanks to this, we are to do much better detection of the malicious domains. And the third source, and the very important one, is
Nicole, can you hear us?
Mm-hmm.
I think you have some connection issues. I don't hear you, Mikael. Sorry. Something happened with your microphone, I think.
okay. Just a second, Mihai, please.
It's okay now.
It's
okay now. It's okay now.
My side. Can you please try to say something? Yeah, you can hear me.
We can hear you right now.
I can hear you, but you can hear me, obviously.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I will continue. So the third source is the DNS traffic. As I said, everybody of us is communicating on the internet. So these are basically footprints of all our traffic. And thanks to this DNS traffic, we are able to scan the history of the domain and the resolutions in time. And there are some important metadata.
Hello again.
Hello again. There was some glitch, and I'm not sure what you heard as the last thing.
Well, actually, you just interrupted a few seconds ago. So
okay, lovely. I'm sorry, there are some network glitches, on our
yeah,
side.
don't worry about it.
Okay,
it happens. It happens.
So I'll try to share again and continue.
Yes.
Okay.
We can see it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mihai. Yeah. So again, as I said, in DNS traffic, there are some important metadata which we can use for detection. For example, when the domain was first seen. Yeah, that's important thing. Like if it's seen for the first time, we should scan for the content and scan regularly. When it was last seen, maybe it's not used anymore, so we should not scan it anymore. Important information, does it resolve constantly to the same IP address? So it's probably a legitimate domain, right? There is some content like web page or anything similar, or changing rapidly. If it's changing rapidly, that's probably an attacker. Are there some other records on the domain, like TXT, CNAMEs? Legitimate domains usually have them. Yeah, attacker's domain, not so much. And again, we can scan for non-existent domains. These are domains used for DNS tunneling or DGAs. I will talk about it a little bit later. But if we are trying to resolve the domain and it returns non-existent domain, it's suspicious. Yeah, it's probably attacker. And all of this adds to the risk score of the domain we are trying to set and evaluate. What is also a big advantage of this scan is that you can actually make a map. I know that it's not very visible, like what is inside, but I'll try to explain. If we are able to detect the attacker domain, we are also able to create map to a certain extent also other domains used by the attacker. How we can do it? Of course, like we can use the registry or certificate information and scan for the same domains of the same owner or issuer for the certificate or the domain, or we can scan for the similar domains or on the same IP, on the same hosting. Again, it's not bulletproof, but it can give us very good overview if the attacker is using also some other domains for example, for a phishing campaign, which we can scan, detect, and block in the end. Yeah, so this is very useful. And for example, this is mapped where you can see that it's not a phishing campaign used just in one country, for example, US, but also in other countries like Ukraine. Nowadays, very popular. Another important sources, of course, is threat list, indicators of compromise in threat intelligence speech. Currently, we have 40 plus sources with a list of domains. There are usually thousands of them or tens of thousands, and it's very effective against global threats. Yeah? Some of these lists are publicly available, so anyone can use them. Some of them are private. I mean, we need to pay for them, and we are doing this. It's usually issued by the security companies, and we are also cooperating with takedown services. So if any, let's say, official authority says that this is malicious domain, we are cooperating with the takedown services and block them immediately. So this was intelligence sharing, let's say, over global level, but what is, let's say, very important and let's say big advantage of the DNS4EU project is cooperation on the regional level. Yeah. Also, the global vendors are, let's say, successful against blocking the global threats, but they are usually failing in blocking the regional threats, the regional phishing campaign, the regional attacks. Yeah, and this is, let's say, one of the main pillars of the DNS4EU project to actually cooperate together and connect all cybersecurity agencies around Europe to one backend, to one database. And we are doing that. And I'm happy to say that actually inside Romania, the DNSC is actually connected already to the DNS4EU backend. So we are able to efficiently share the threat intelligence information together and block the domains if they are malicious. This whole mechanism works through some technology or let's say technique. It's not a protocol, which is called MISP. It's widely used in the security industry, and we are trying to connect, let's say, all relevant parties, which is actually 550 organizations, cybersecurity organizations around Europe. So it's a quite big challenge. Yeah, but we are on good path or on good way, to actually have them connected. And with this, we already were able to detect and block the local phishing campaigns and protect the users and organizations from them. So that was intelligence sharing. Now we are coming to the third point, and that is traffic analysis. So for traffic analysis, we have neural networks, and now I will talk about DGA detection. As I mentioned from the start, it's a race, right? Against attackers and defenders. And as I mentioned, the domain is usually blocked after some time. So what malware softwares are actually doing is they are generating new and new domains all the time, and trying to connect to them and communicate with them before they are actually detected by the security software. So these domains are usually generated by algorithms. So how we are doing this? So there is some domain. So is this domain actually human readable? Well, probably no, right? It seems suspicious. Okay, so if there is some domain which looks like generated by the algorithm, let's check if the client actually sends series of these. And it seems yes, they are sending series of these DNS queries for DGA domains. So we detected the client which is very probably or almost certainly infected by some malware. Now we need to cluster those domains. Even though that there is one domain which looks like DGA, there are still some legitimate domains which looks like it, but have legitimate content on it, and they are not malicious. So we need to cluster the similar domains together, and then once we detect them, we are able to, or like we send them to our backend and then distribute to all resolvers around the world to prevent any future traffic to these domains. And it's very important, let's say, advantage of protective DNS that we are able to block the threats almost in real time once we detect them. Yeah? And that's very nice advantage. There are no updates, no deployments, no installations. Yeah, and we are able to immediately block them because we are working on network level. Another very, I wouldn't say widely used, but dangerous technique how to get actually that data out of the network is DNS tunneling. Well, DNS tunneling, why it's so successful? Because it cannot be blocked by most of the firewalls. I'm not saying all of them, but of course, DNS communication is usually non-encrypted. It works on port 53, which you cannot close. Yeah, it's legitimate communication. So the attackers invented this technique how to actually get data out of the network through the port 53, through something what seems to be legitimate communication. How they are doing that? And they register some domain, in this case, tunnel.com. And they are trying to encode the data into the subdomain. And our goal is to detect it again. Yeah, so we are querying so attacker, or let's say infected device, is querying for these domains, and our engine needs to ask, oh, why such a long query? That's very unusual. Is it actually legitimate or malicious? It seems malicious. So again, let's ask, does the client send series of those? If so, it's almost certainly infected, and the attacker is trying to dig some data from out of the network, to their name server, and decode the data, for example, passwords or like any other data which are in the network, and get into the network. Yeah, and we are trying to block it again. Yeah, so if the client sends series of those, they are exposed to the DNS tunneling attack, and we need to mark those domains as used for tunnels. Again, there are some exceptions because, for example, antivirus softwares or even Spotify are actually using the DNS tunneling technique for a legitimate communication. Yeah? So we need to whitelist those domains, but all of the rest, they are probably attackers. And again, once we detect it, we can immediately block it on the DNS level, DNS resolver, so the users and organizations are protected. And the last but not least, from the threat intelligence area, is false positive mitigations. Yeah, of course, like we are humans, we are softwares. All of us can be wrong, right? So of course we do have some false positives. Not many of them, still some. So what we are doing is again training neural networks that based on DNS traffic, we are trying to detect these false positives before they are reported by the customers, and lowering the risk score if there is high demand for the domain from various places or devices. Yeah, so it's probably legitimate communication. Also, we are cooperating with another member of consortium, which is Czech University of Technology, to actually develop or research a new model for this detection. Even this one is pretty successful, but still can be better. Okay. As a second point, there are prominent lists of domain because you probably won't block Microsoft.com or Google.com, right? Even though it's detected as malicious, it's probably false positive. Yeah? So of course, these prominent domains, they are not blocked at any time. And right now there are, let's say, hundreds of such domains which are not blocked at any circumstances to not disrupt your business or daily operation. And of course, as last resort, but it's functionally reported by customers. Yeah? From time to time, any user or customer detects like he's trying to access some domain, it's not accessible because it's detected as malicious, and they report it to us, and our threat intelligence team does the evaluation if it's truly not malicious, and if not, it's removed from the backend and from the blocks. So that was how our threat intelligence model work, and I will give some space for questions after the end of the presentations. Now let's jump on how to be protected. Now we have all the data, we have detected the malicious domains, but how to actually protect the user and organizations. Daniel mentioned it in 4 main pillars of DNS4EU. So just to give a little bit more flavor to it, a lot of people think that the, let's say, main goal or main distribution channel is actually through public resolvers. Google has some, Cloudflare has some, we have many of them. Of course, it's a legitimate way how to use it, yeah. But to be honest, it's used only by the expert community. Yeah, let's say 3% of IT guys we have around Europe. But my mom or my sister probably does not know how to reconfigure their DNS resolver, and they cannot do it. Yeah, so it needs to be done in a different way. Just to finish the DNS4EU for public, of course, we will have them. There will be like 14 places around Europe of public DNS4EU resolvers which you can use. There will be pure resolution, just for resolution, of course, protected resolution, the main value, and we are also considering some edit values like protected resolution with adult filtering or ad filtering. Maybe this will be paid services, we will see, but it's not main distribution channel. How to protect actual millions of users is through telcos and through ISPs, because these are the ones who are providing the DNS services to the end users and to millions of them. And we are doing that already right now. And we have 200 plus connectivity providers all around the world on every continent, actually. And this is actually offered to the end users as added value service, yeah, to their standard mobile or data plan. Yeah, so this is how it's done by telcos and ISPs. And another main distribution channel, which came actually with the DNS4EU project, is DNS4EU for governments. There are some new challenges for deployments, like hierarchical structure with multi-tenancy. And this is something what is becoming popular in the world. Yeah, USA has this service for some years. I'm not sure how many exactly, 6 or something like that. Canada has it, UK has it, Australia has it, and the rest of the Europe should follow. Yeah. So this is the, let's say, next challenge for the Europe to actually have DNS protective service in every country. And now let's a little bit dive into the DNS4EU for governments regarding the deployments. Yeah, and it really depends on what kind of organization you are working for. If you are, for example, elementary school or small municipality like town hall or maybe county office, you just want to be protected, but not bothered with anything more. Yeah, so it's super easy actually to be protected because you just transfer or redirect your DNS traffic to national DNS resolver, usually provided by the National Cybersecurity Agency. Yeah, and that's it. A little disadvantage is that you have no management, no reports, no control of your DNS traffic. Yeah, but you are protected and it works. So that's good. Then we can have standard deployment. It's mentioned for some bigger organizations like a hospital or critical infrastructure services like electricity provider. Yeah. And these services needs to have or usually have their own DNS resolver, on-premise DNS resolver, which are deployed for the whole organization. The advantage, as I mentioned, is they have like full management and full control over the DNS traffic. So if anything wrong happens, you are able to actually search into the history, who communicates, where, with which domains, and do some forensic analysis, as well as filtration for particular departments, for example, and full management, who can access data, and so on and so forth. The biggest challenge which we have with DNS4EU for governments is actually multi-tenant deployment. Of course, I'm not very familiar how it works exactly in Romania, But in the Czech Republic, we have something like Ministry of Inferior. Probably you have something like that as well, and they have some inferior organization, like police, firefighters, their own offices, and so on and so forth. So in this case, there is only, let's say, one or set of on-premise DNS resolver deployed to the, let's say, whole ministry and all inferior organizations, but there is actually multi-tenant access. So the data are separated from each other. So police has access only to their data, firefighters to their data, and this nesting can be infinite. So police can have some like police counties, and they have some their offices, and on all these levels there can be like different access to management and data reports for different users. So this is the most complex scenario, which is usually requested by the governmental structures. So these were about deployments, and now I'm reaching to the end of my presentation. If you are interested in more details, Daniel already mentioned, we are on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. We have this lovely web page when you can scan for the news. And if you will have some question, which we will not answer these, you can also write me directly to my email, mikhail.havelka@wellbone.io. I'm on LinkedIn, and you can scan the QR code to connect me there. And by this, I would like to thank you for listening. And now I would like to ask if there are actually any questions.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mikhail. We arrived at the end of our presentation sessions. And surely we dive into the Q&A session. We only have one question, which my colleague Alexandru Apetre already answered in the chat, but I will give you that question. Thank you for your presentation. I have a question regarding the level of implication of a public institution, such as the City Hall in this project. Is there anything we can help with, or anything we have to do before the project comes to an end?
You mean you as DNSC, or?
As DNSC, or as the whole project, for instance?
Well, I'm not sure, like, if I understand the question correctly, there is nothing really, let's say, mandatory, or it's like on the edge. The European Commission or NSA respectively highly recommends to actually use protective DNS service, but I'm not sure if it's actually transferred to any European directive, like NIS2. Okay. I think they are in some like sort of discussion if it's needs to be mandatory or recommended, but their goal is to actually like
recommend it. Yeah. Well, let me rephrase that question. Will there be a step-by-step guide on how to adopt the new DNS version for people who are not that technical, for instance?
For sure. We are cooperating with basically like every cert or CCERT in the particular country, and once we reach the end of the discussions, like for example, who will deploy the protective DNS resolver, then of course we will provide the manual how to connect there and how to deploy it.
That's great. There are no other questions in the chat, so if there are people who actually want to address their questions to our speakers via audio, they can unmute their mic, but please raise your hand in order to address that questions and have some sort of order in which we do that. Okay.
Lovely.
Yeah. Well, it seems no one raised their hand. Okay, so maybe everything was so clear that we won't need the Q&A session at the end. So thank you everyone for your participation on our webinar dedicated to the DNS4EU project. Thank you, Daniela, and thank you, Mikhail, for your presentations and explanations. Hope every information about the project is clarified and that the audience questions have been answered in a satisfactory manner. If anyone if anyone has additional questions, you can also write to us via email, and also you have the Mikhail contact, and we will try to address it as soon as possible. So thank you once again, and maybe we'll see each other as soon as possible with other webinars. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikhail.
Thank you.
Organizing
Have a
this.
great day.
Thank you. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.
Ciao.